back at the table with another exciting episode of Crit Happens. I am your mic man, the Bubberknot.
Moxie.
Teaspoon.
Siege.
And today's episode is going to be rather interesting. I've got some things to admit here, and let me just come out with it right now. I am a grown-up gamer.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
I know that doesn't necessarily mean anything right off the tip of the tongue, but, you know, I just wanted to bring to the table that I've been gaming for more than half of my life. I'm 26, almost 27 years old, and my earliest form of gaming at this point that I can recall is being 5 years old, and my parents picked up Super Nintendo. I got that Nintendo swag.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah, and I've been gaming for quite a long time. Now, my implementation into tabletop and role-playing was much later in life. I think I was probably closer to like 19 years old. But the earliest form of gaming that I had, like I said, was the Super Nintendo when I was 5. Now, I know that doesn't necessarily translate to some of the younger generations. That doesn't really particularly matter. But I am a grown-up gamer, and there's some things that I just got to bring to the table here. But before we go into that, how old are you guys?
21.
That's Teaspoon.
Youngest at the table.
Yes, you are. It's Moxie, obviously. And I'm 24.
24?
I don't like saying that.
And I'm 28.
Oh my god, it's Grandpa Siege! Look at him over
You're
there.
a grandmother.
Grandma.
He's 16 years old.
I need cookies, Grandma. Let's go.
So we've been around the block. Gaming's not exactly new to us.
No, not even a little bit.
And
All
I
of us have
know.
grown up gaming, right?
Yeah, definitely.
'Cause I know I did.
Man, it defines who we are.
Before I can remember. Like, I remember
He doesn't really remember last week, so we're sure of this much. He's not lying
Yesterday's a
thus
little
far.
foggy.
I've been playing games for at least a week.
At least a week. At least a week. There's no.
Holy shit! Let
no,
me hear your history.
Yeah, no dicking around there. What's your first recollection of video gaming? Like, what really brings you back?
I know exactly. I know the story. I actually tell people all the time. I was 3,
Okay.
and I went down to my friend's house. He walked me down to his house, and we went and sat down in front of the TV, and he turned on his Nintendo,
Oh.
and I played Duck Hunt.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, with a duck.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I remember that shit. Plugging in the gun, shooting that. I thought that was amazing. He's like, you just point it at the screen and you shoot the ducks. And I got a duck, and I was 3, and I was filled with joy.
I just killed a duck. Holy shit!
I murdered something. That dog didn't laugh at me. Arr, arr, arr.
I remember it. And then the combo pack of Duck Hunt and
Mario.
Mario. I remember
You
that.
gotta remember that there was also clay pigeons. You could shoot the clay pigeons as well.
Yes.
Fuck that.
Play pigeon shooting.
That was way more fun to me. After like the 11th level of duck hunting, it gets stupid. You get like flash ducks. It's like whack whack, and they're gone.
I never made it that far. I was 3.
They
And
had the Goku teleportation.
They did.
by the time
Instant
I was
transmission.
4,
They
by
were
the time I
gone.
was 4, I think I had a Super Nintendo in my house, 4 or 5.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if we take it back, the consoles themselves were older at that time, because I was born in 89,
Yeah.
and Super Nintendo came out in, was it 90?
Right around that time frame, yeah.
And so I was 5 when I think 4 or 5, so it was like 94, 95 when I got a Super Nintendo myself, so it was a few years
Cool.
older.
Cool.
It's a good one to start on. I started on the PC actually.
Really?
Yeah. My dad
You
had
lucky dick.
a PC at our old house in Eagledale,
Oh, wow.
East Side,
Okay.
and he modded Doom levels, and we played online actually.
Wow.
That's where I started. I started on Doom 2.
That's intense.
That shows how much of a baby you are.
Yeah.
You started on Doom 2.
I started on Doom 2. Connor did too. My brother did as well. And he actually was hooked on it far more than I was. But, yeah, we would ask to play Doom before we went to daycare or went to school. And we would get up in the morning and do that and just game.
I remember watching my grandma play Ninja vs. Ninja on DOS.
Yeah.
Yeah, on PC DOS. Yeah, it was terrible.
I think when I played on was 97. Windows 97.
Wow, yeah.
What year were you born?
92.
Oh, wow. How about you, Grandpa Siege? Did they draw pictures and smoke signals back then?
My first console
Sticks and
that
stones. That's all we had.
yes, I get it. I'm old. No, but My first console I owned was a Super Nintendo, but I definitely was playing video games long before the Super Nintendo came out. I believe Mario was my first game I ever played.
It's a good one.
And then very soon after Duck Hunt, because it was on
Arguably
the same
one of the best
cartridge. But yeah, definitely played Mario, been hooked ever since.
Yeah.
I think we played a lot of Contra as well. So those were my first two memories is playing Mario and Contra.
Wow.
With one of my best friends that I grew up with.
Well, a way to bring it back there, Nintendo hard.
Right?
Yeah. Those Contra games, man, they'll do you in. Do you in something
Oh, yeah,
fierce.
yeah.
Contra's no joke.
Things are
not.
quite a bit different now. I mean, like
You almost
now,
need the 30 lives code just to get through the game.
you have to.
I remember another game that I played really, really early, around that time. It was probably after I had played Duck Hunt, but it's another one of those memories of the first time that I played.
Yeah.
It was on the PC. When you said that, that's what sparked it.
Mm-hmm.
It was a Pocahontas PC video game.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Pocahontas PC video
Not
game.
Pokemon. Pokehontas.
What is this Pocahontas you speak of?
See,
Was it like a- was
you're
it like
right
a-
over there, Steve? No, you losing it?
I can't imagine that would be very fun, to be honest.
What
It was
was it like like a pack of different things you could do in one game?
And you know what? I don't even really remember it that much because it was a fucking Pocahontas video game.
Yeah.
But I remember sitting at the computer playing it, and I think it was a word game. It was to teach you. You would type in words.
That's even worse. I have to learn?
Fucking 5. Give me a break.
It's on a screen, you bastard. This is fun. That's a logic we use nowadays.
That's what they thought about those educational games. If we put it on a screen,
They'll learn.
they'll like it.
There's that new
And it
game
worked.
that's out now that makes you type. What is that? The zombie killing game. What's that called?
The typing dead.
The Typing Dead.
That looks fun.
That looks like a blast. Okay, so when you're 5.
I'll never play it. I can't type.
Oh, we know.
No, getting on
I
type.
need easy mode.
He can't spell or read.
The words pop up there. That's fine. I just can't type
He
it.
can acknowledge them. He can't read them, but he knows they're there.
I just need a microphone so I can drag in dictation. It'd still be a little difficult.
The word is definitely fuzzy navel, and he's like, dragons. That's
Yeah.
definitely dragons.
We gotta type dragons.
And he spells out teddy bear.
No, but it was a Pocahontas video game, and I remember you had to jump, and I remember you could run, and I remember seeing the Indian legs, and it was
The notable things.
The notable-
extremely
The notable things
racist.
is definitely.
no, the wind, the color of the wind with the leaves.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
you had to jump over those.
Those were a good thing in the
man.
movie.
I remember my first PC experience as a kid. I mean, aside from watching my grandma play that ninja game on DOS, my first real gaming like PC experience as a kid was the Oregon Trail.
Yeah, that's a
And,
good one. That's a lot of
what was
fun
it?
as an adult.
You just played that.
Number
at 22.
Munchers. Number
Don't
Munchers.
know.
There was another one where it was a racing game. You had to, I don't remember exactly what you had to do, but every time you completed a challenge, which was something, it was something academic related, like spell out flippin' switcher or some stupid shit like that.
Oh,
And
it's advanced.
they would give you money to spend on cars to race other cars, and you'd have to like bash the space bar as hard as you could to make these cars race. So like there's 24 little boys bashing the space bar as hard as they could, like they're like really rubbing one out.
It's training.
It was.
We're getting you ready. You don't even know it yet.
Yeah.
You'll
But-
be master wankers.
That's right. That's right.
Black belt before you're even 12.
There's gonna be lots of
gross.
chafing in this classroom.
I don't know if it was my first PC experience. I know Doom 2 was one of the first, if not the first. My grandmother had a game on her PC, had Old Dell, and it was a Timon and Pumbaa game, Lion King, and it was like a multi-pack of all these different games. There was like 9 different games, and you'd go into different parts of the jungle, of
But
the
probably
land.
it featured Timon and Pumbaa.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They were the main characters, but I remember one was it was like where you get 3 colors together and they break. I guess like Candy Crush.
Okay.
And I played the shit out of that. I was like master at that. Like I was like, "Whoa, dude, you're like level 107. You should probably stop." I'm like, no. There's something at the end. Damn you!
I had
And you would shoot the bugs
Yeah.
together, and they would.
Oh, that's so much fun.
I had a game like that too, but the one that I had was it was a cram pack of all these like little games, but it was the Animaniacs.
Nice.
And
I bet that was a
there was
blast.
one. It wasn't necessarily a side scroller. It was like a top down adventure game, and your attack, like you were playing. I think it was the one that burped. Was it Wacko?
I
I can't
No
remember.
idea. Yeah, you're asking for too much now.
It was Wacko. Wacko. He would, whenever you'd find an enemy, you would burp, but you would collect points, and every time that you collect X amount of points, your burp would be more like it'd be bad.
Larger.
Like the bigger the burp,
Yeah.
obviously. But you would eat bugs, and it would make your burp noxious, so it would be like a poison effect. And there was like a Animaniacs mini golf. And
Nice.
you could just play mini golf on the computer, which, I mean, Tiger Woods fucking golf is selling like hotcakes these days. Don't understand why. Fucking
Right.
sports ball. But
Sports.
this
It's for the
it was
DLC
funny.
where you can
Sports
cheat.
ball featuring a stick.
Yeah. It was funny because every time that you would do terribly, Yakko would insult you. Every time.
Nice.
Like, I can't even remember any of them, but he'd be like, well, look at you, Noodle Arms. What are you doing over there? Like, some crazy shit. I'm like, I'm 11 years old, and I'm being insulted by a cartoon.
You're such a bitch.
Basically.
Child insults of the equivalent. You're
Yeah.
just like, go fuck yourself, wacko, or
Basically the entire
Kill
time.
you, anime.
How about
I'll
you?
find you. You're at the end. I know it.
What was your first experience in PC gaming?
I didn't really touch a PC until
And you
Yesterday.
never will.
Yeah. Last week.
Oh, you said PC. I thought you said something else.
That was clever.
no.
Oh,
Don't encourage him.
brilliant. Slow clap.
I mean, I think my first PC game was probably Oregon Trail and stuff like that, but I never really got into those. I think
Those are still fun.
I think the first real PC game that I actually enjoyed playing was probably Team Fortress 1.
Really?
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's cool. That's a good one to
That
get into.
That, and I think I was also playing a lot of Command and Conquer.
Oh man, the C&C days are.
Seems
Yeah.
good.
I wish I could go back to those. I think the
I
first.
kind of wish I'd stuck with them. I mean, I like
Yeah.
real-time strategies, but these new ones, I fucking suck at them.
Yeah, really, really bad.
They're complex, man. They took it to a new level.
My first.
Like there's like 40 keys in the keyboard. We're gonna use every single one
Yeah.
of them.
My first real experience like that was an eye opener for PC games for myself. I think I was like 14 or 15 years old, and my mom gave me a hand-me-down computer, one that I think at the time had 256 meg like RAM speed.
Yeah.
We're talking crawling. Somebody bought
like a
me
tiger.
Somebody bought me a StarCraft battle chest. Oh no, excuse me, it was a Warcraft battle chest.
Yeah, yeah,
Who's
okay.
a-
And in this battle chest, it had Warcraft 1, Warcraft 2, and Warcraft Tactics.
Nice.
And I loved it. Like it was my first real entrance into that fantasy, like into that world, the immersion.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was so neat. Like my mom was like, "You're stupid. You're playing such a dumb game. Like this game is so dumb. Why don't you go play poker and make some money?" I'm like, "Because he says zug zug when you click places. This is why."
Have you seen me as a warrior?
Yeah. It's like, Mom, you might make $100, but I've got a fucking Griffin warrior that can fight shit.
That's
yeah.
right.
What do you do about that, Mom?
I can fly.
She's like, money.
You were like, what, 15? So I was like, whatever.
Yeah, it didn't really matter to me.
Whatever, you're just gonna spend that all on me anyway.
Yep.
Hell, it wasn't even until I was much older because like I love role playing today. RPGs are probably my favorite.
Oh yeah, if you could stick just like if you could only play one genre.
Yeah, I'd play RPGs all day long.
Yep.
And that's just what it
I
would be.
think I'm the odd man out in this one. I
Elaborate.
I like shooters.
It's fine, you're not a man.
It's okay. You're not. It's not an insult.
I'm not throwing my hands up and say like I'm not a man. Like I'm.
Go fuck you. You don't know me.
I know you want to be.
You always
you
call
check?
me the dude. Everywhere we always go. Always you're like, hey man, and you emphasize the man part.
It's whatever it needs to be for convenience sake.
When I was 7 years old,
Fuck you, Steve.
my mom and my grandma actually went in and they bought me a copy of a game called Secret of Mana.
Ooh.
And I
You
didn't
still
get
have
it.
that?
Yeah, I do still have it. I never got it. Like I got to the first boss, which is 9 minutes into the game, and I died. And I died repeatedly, and I just didn't get the game. I didn't understand
Yep.
why I would swing a sword and it would just like numbers would appear on the screen. I'm like, did I hit him with like a mathematician code? What the fuck is this? I didn't understand it. So I'm swinging my sword, numbers are coming up, and this guy's not dying, and I would just keep dying. So I'm like, this is bullshit. I'll never play this again. Fast forward a few years, and my best friend at the time, his name's Billy. Billy was like, "Whoa, you have Secret of Mana? This is like one of the best games ever." like, no, it's not.
Have you ever played
Yeah,
it?
this
Clearly
game's,
not.
This game's bullshit. And he's like, no, seriously, like, this is a multiplayer game. I'm like, no, it's not. You're lying to me. You've got dumb hair and you can't read, and this is a bad game.
Didn't you have a chili bowl?
Yes, I did.
Back in the day.
So you've been
that
having
shit
the
was
same
fly.
insults for your friends since you were
My entire life.
your entire life.
You know why I don't change them? They're effective. Fuck.
Don't change what they
You
were.
can't read.
They work. So he's showing me that it's like you can do certain things in this game, and then he unlocks the second character. And I'm like, okay, so what's multiplayer about it? And he plugs in a second controller, and I can control the second player. And then I start reading the story, and I'm getting like this immersion of the magic in the world all around me, like this mana tree and all these creatures, and the great dragon's been released. And I'm like, oh my god!
Holy shit, this is amazing!
There's a dragon! My mom's like, come on, we're going. I'm like, there's a dragon on the loose!
You don't understand.
You don't
Mom.
even know, Mom. You don't even know my pain.
I have reason now.
I must slay the dragon.
I have reason now.
Exactly, that's how it was.
This is
And
what life is for. And you
That's
just
right.
slam the door in her face.
from the time I was 12 years old to the time I was 15, I played Secret of Mana and I'd never beaten it.
Really?
Yeah, so we played it like every summer. And it came to a point in the game where it went a year. We were stuck in the same spot. We just couldn't figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And to this day, it's not really a limerick. It's kind of like a hymn. We went out and we actually had to buy the guidebook because
Nice.
game FAQs didn't exist.
Oh no.
So we open up this book and we fast forward to the page and I'm like, okay, all right. There's a picture that's 1/2 inch by 1 inch with 27 words on how to beat this area. What is this bullshit? And it literally says from summer to winter, or from spring to winter, summer again, and then you enter. That's all it says. And I look at Billy and I'm like, what the fuck does this even mean? And he's like, I don't even know. So we're literally just running circles in this area because it's like each area, there's four areas and they depict a season.
Yeah.
And he's like, I've got an idea. Of course, Billy's 2 years older than me, and I'm 15 at the time. He's like, I've got an idea. Stellar ideas from a 17-year-old. And he walks from spring all the way around, like hitting all of the seasons in order. And
Yep.
once he hits summer the second time, it literally makes a noise and it goes, "Kir." And it says, you've unlocked something. I'm like, what is this bullshit? I've waited a year in my life for this? And sure
All the
enough,
seasons.
Exactly. We walked all of the seasons in order from starting with spring.
By waiting all the seasons.
Exactly.
In real life.
Exactly. We waited all the seasons in real life.
We took it to a new level.
Like, I was 14 or 15. I didn't have a job, so I had to do stupid ass chores around my house to gain like $20, and Billy had to go do the same shit around his house to get $20 so we could buy this guidebook that we literally only needed for 11 seconds
Yep.
Why didn't you just open it at the store to that page?
because there was no place local that had it. We had to order it.
That's right.
Besides, they usually came in plastic wrapping.
Yeah.
So you couldn't just read it there.
We had to order it from Nintendo. We couldn't
They
just
were
be
like,
like, at the time, it was Funko Land. That was the big store that I could go to get my
yeah,
games.
Funko Land, hell yeah.
And I went up to Funko Land. It's like, no, we can't get that guide. That game is a little hard to find, and nobody wants to come off those guides very cheaply. I'm like, can you just order it brand new? No. What? Is this real life? So
You said the wrong word. You said no.
we call Super Nintendo and we're like, we want to order this guidebook. I'm like, sure, it's gonna be $40. I hung up immediately. I looked at Billy and like, we've got another problem. He's like, what now? I was like, it's $40. He literally puts his hands on us. He's like, what? It's $40. Sure enough, we find a way to get this money, and then I get like after my mom pays me, I take Billy's 20, my 20, and I give it back to her. I'm like, now buy this book. She's like, okay. So she places the order over the phone with her debit card. She's like, $47. I look at Billy and I'm like, oh no, where did the $7 come from? What is this treachery and magic?
It's like they cheated us.
Those bastards. And my mom's like, yeah, that's fine. She's just impatient at this point because we're basically like fucking tiki dancing around her with torches and shit.
Because she's instantly gonna have the book to hand to you. Yeah.
And
Billy,
It's gonna like spawn through the phone.
she's like,
Place the
okay,
order, Billy.
okay, and she folds up the money
any
and tucks it into her pocket and hangs up the phone. And I'm like, yeah, yeah. And
Transaction complete.
She's like, you owe me $7. I'm like, what for? Like, I'm immediately confused. She's like, shipping and handling. I'm like, damn it, okay. But at the time, before I was like, dag nabbit, all right. And I'm like, sweet, when's it going to be here? Like, I'll be at the mailbox now. And she's like, 14 business days, which roughly translated out to a month and a half.
All right, forever.
Thank you, USPS, you dicks.
Shipping time 1 forever. Don't wait on
Yeah.
us.
So we wait. We get this fucking book, and we figure like he figures it out almost immediately, and we finished it. And like from that point on, we never needed the fucking book
You
Nice.
spent $47 on a book
for
11
3.5 minutes.
That's a lot of money as an adult, let alone as a kid.
Oh yeah, like there were some hotlines that cost way less than that for the equal amount of pleasure that we got out of it.
Yeah.
So
But you got past that part.
we got past that part. You know, it was well worth. But at the time, you got to recall, like Super Nintendo, and 64 was still out, but the Super Nintendo hotline still existed. You could literally call Super Nintendo and their gaming line, be like, "Hey, I'm playing this game," and they would forward you to a specialist that played that game.
Nice.
So I'm at this area, and they would forward you to a specialist in that area of the game.
It's just another 17-year-old like, no, dude, this is what you got.
And it's like, hey, man, I found the upgrade to the boomerang, and I've hit the 3rd pigman. What can I do to get past it? He's like, you see that block right there, that blue one? Yeah. Jump, count to 3, and then jump again. I'm like, but there's nothing that trust me.
You called me for a reason.
Okay, all right, I will. And I counted to 3, and I jumped, and a block appeared underneath me, and I was like, you're a prophet.
Can you just stay here on the phone?
You were sent by the Nintendo gods. And sure enough,
Wizard, show me your way.
yes, teach me your magic. And he's like, not a problem, man. I gotta go now. And like he would hang up, and that would be end of transaction. But there were many times as a kid that my grandma would abuse that line, and she would bother them so many times that they would be like, "Oh, hey, Frida, what's going on?" And I didn't even say my name. No, we know you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that time of day. We know.
But yeah, that was my childhood, man. I grew up with the Super Nintendo. You know, sure, I had exposure to the Sega Genesis, but at the time I was all about Nintendo all the way.
Yeah.
And what the fuck's a PlayStation? You know,
Right.
we didn't have that then. Even when it came out, it was still many years afterwards.
Really? I got one pretty much when it first came out. PlayStation.
Oh, yeah.
When the Nintendo 64 launched, I had it.
Yeah.
I had it, and I lost my mind. I had
Those graphics, though.
I had
Right?
Wave Race, and GoldenEye. Wave Race. and
GoldenEye is dope.
Yeah.
I still have my copy.
I still play GoldenEye.
I
We played it in college.
Yeah.
I remember wanting to get a PlayStation so bad. I went and did a manual labor job for 10 days straight, making $10 a day. Like, I'm not even talking, I'm talking about like literally, like,
You have to tell us what you're doing, because all I'm doing is picturing little CJ counting like sixlets
no.
and stacking them up in pyramid form.
That would be fucking hard.
There was a mechanic
Fucking
shop
round.
in the town that I was living in, and his shop burnt down. And he rebuilt his shop, but the old burned down building was still in the back, and it had overgrown and all that stuff, and he wanted to clear all that out. So me and a friend of mine were hired to pretty much clear all that out. My mom would drop me off on her way into work. I would work through the day until she got off work, and then she'd pick me up, and I made $10
Damn.
So
doing
little
manual labor.
CJ and another 9-year-old spent
He was
hours.
a year or two older than me, so.
So maybe like a 10-year-old and an 11-year-old spent hours, like 8 to 9 hours a day, with, I'm guessing, cinder blocks, gloves, maybe a machete if there's any overgrown weeds.
Weed whackers, stuff like that.
Weed
Like, we
whacker.
were pretty much, clearing out the old building and...
For $1 an hour.
Look at that, folks. Child labor laws.
Yeah.
Not just meant for anything.
Yeah,
But I
that's
made-
why we have them.
The reason why I did this is because my parents made me a deal. If I would come up with half the money for a PlayStation,
Yep.
they would come up with the other half the money and get it for me for Christmas.
Fully not expecting that you would actually come up with it.
Yes, they did not expect it. And my friend told me that, he knew where we can make a little bit of money, and I was like, hell yeah, I need to make $100. So for 10 days straight, for 10 days, I did this. I made my $100, and I quit. I was like, I'm done. I don't care if your building's finished.
Nope. I got what I need.
I got what I came for.
CJ, 10 days later, he comes back, throws a $100 bill down in front of his mom, and he's like, what? What?
Y'all don't even know. You don't know me.
But they held up their end of the bargain. They got me the PlayStation, and they got me my first game for it, and it was Nightmare Creatures.
Really?
I remember
Yeah.
that game.
Never played that one.
Such a horrible game.
Yeah, it was
going
pretty.
back,
It was pretty rough.
but
It
I mean,
scared me.
It was the game I had, and Neat concept, though. You get to play as the monsters from your dreams.
I never made it that far. It scared me too much.
That's the game.
That's the basis.
Starts.
No, maybe I'm thinking of a different one.
I guess technically you could also start as the Monster Hunter too, but who the fuck was playing the Monster Hunter when you could play the monster?
My first PlayStation games were Road Rage, Spyro,
That's a good
the
one.
Spyro, and Oddworld.
Abe's Exodus?
Abe's Oddworld.
Nice.
Dude,
Nice. That's good
that
shit.
scared the shit out of me as a fucking kid. I hated that game.
Yeah.
Never played it. Dad would play it.
My first
Played the
PlayStation
shit
game
out of Spyro though.
was
Holy hell yeah.
right?
my first PlayStation game.
You could glide.
Resident Evil.
It's a good
Really?
What?
Resident Evil.
Actually,
Interesting.
oddly enough, I played Resident Evil 2 before I ever played any of the other Resident Evils.
Then
I've still not beat the
my
first
first
one.
game that I purchased for the PlayStation was Twisted Metal 3.
Nice. That's a good one.
And I didn't play it like everyone's like, you can play the first one, you can play the second one. Twisted Metal 3 was the shit.
Yeah.
I love that game.
I like Twisted Metal 2. That was always my favorite.
The one I put the most into was Twisted Metal Black.
Twisted Metal Black, yeah, that
PlayStation 2.
was way fun.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, it was way fun. I think I played it so many times that I unlocked everyone's ending.
Yeah.
Everyone's. My dad was like, "How do you just keep killing other cars? That doesn't make any sense. This game's dumb." I'm like, "No, you don't get it. You don't get it.
You don't understand.
Yeah,
I'm the clown.
Yeah, you don't understand the devotion here. I'm the guy on the motorcycle. I am Mr. Grimm. Fuck you. You don't get it, Dad."
That's right. I'm the winner.
I remember being a kid and getting a 64 for Christmas the year that it had come out. And I got the Donkey Kong edition, the
Uh-oh.
green one
Nice.
that came with a green controller. And I got Donkey Kong 64 and Banjo and Kazooie.
Good
I
ones.
played the shit out of Donkey Kong 64. I put in Banjo and Kazooie. 10 minutes later, I was like, "Fuck this game!" Never played it
It
since.
was never as good as Donkey Kong.
No.
Never touched it again. I was like, "This game is way
I
superior."
had high hopes for that game too, man. I remember when that came out. I was expecting something really good, and it wasn't. I'm sorry. It was just it was a
A
big
lot of people
letdown.
swear by it, but I never got into
Like
it.
the one game that I loved
Yeah.
that I never
I could
beat
watch somebody
on
play it. I
the
couldn't do it.
64 was Conker's Bad Fur Day.
I've heard a
I
lot
love
about that,
that
but never
game.
played it.
That game was hard, man, and it was very adult themed. It was not
Oh, yeah.
meant for kids, not even
I
the
remember
slightest.
playing it. Like I didn't even know there was like a single player game for that at first. Because whenever I play it, a friend of mine had it because
Yeah.
he had the 64. I had the PlayStation, so I'd go to his house and we'd play 64, and he'd go. But we were playing Conquer Bad Fur Day, and we'd always just play multiplayer,
Yeah.
which was like the squirrels versus teddy bears, like
Yeah.
like shooter, and it was awesome. I
Yeah.
was like, this game is amazing, but that's what I thought it was at first. And then I found out there was a single player game. I was like, what is this?
This game became better, and it was already amazing.
Pretty much from the point that I touched a PC, though, it's pretty much been PC all the way.
Oh yeah.
There were two specific games that did me in. Like I know that I said the Warcraft Battle Chest was my first real induction in PC gaming, but I loved PCs at that point. I wasn't sold completely on PCs because I had a PlayStation 2, I had a PS3, I have an
PS2
Xbox
was great.
360. They're great. They were all great consoles.
Yep.
But when Diablo 2 came out, and when it's like I think it's going on its 12-year anniversary now. It's called Asheron's Call. It's one of the first MMOs I ever played.
Mm-hmm.
I remember being 14 years old and giving my grandma put it on her card. And I was struggling at the time, like, where am I going to come up with $13 to give my grandma when I'm playing this game? How am I going to come up with money if I'm too busy playing the game to work?
That's right.
So she put it on her card, and I played this game for about 4.5 years
Nice.
on this MMO, and the graphics were god awful. They were terrible, but it was fun. The social immersion changed my view of video games as I
Oh,
know
yeah.
it. It
Completely
was
turned
so
it around.
huge. Exactly. And then I got a little bit older. I think it was like 16 or 17, and I was like, man, Asheron's Call's kind of bumming me out. I just need something else to do. And I got into Diablo 2. And albeit the world wasn't as large a Rome, it was my first point-and-click adventure RPG style.
Yeah.
And I got to meet a lot of really interesting people.
Best one to do it on.
Yeah, and it was huge. I mean, it had such a venue for that style of gameplay that it broke me in, and it definitely taught me a few things about gaming.
Yeah.
And about how terrible some of the general community is.
The internet.
Yeah, the internet community's
I
kind of a
started-
terrible place.
I started on RuneScape
Yeah,
when I was 13.
best one to do it on if you don't have the money for it.
Yeah. And even once I got older, I played it for a good 8-9 years
Yeah.
and had membership, $5 a month. no problem. I did it on multiple accounts, had multiple member accounts,
Yeah.
and played the shit out of the game. And I've often gone back and just revisited for, you know, a day or two. I'll walk around, see what's new, see what I hate about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like much about RuneScape.
No, it's a very...
I like its name.
I like its name, too.
It's got a good name.
I
But
can
that's
tell
about
you,
it.
I got into PC gaming. I was around 14, and we played Halo Online. I was in a clan. I was in a they were called Airborne Death.
I remember you telling me about
in
this.
a Halo clan. They did all kinds of games online. They did like Battlefield and
Probably Counter-Strike.
I don't know. I didn't play it. I played Halo.
Yeah.
That's what I played. And I was damn good at 14 because I treated it like my job. I would wake up, I would go to practice. Yes, we would have practices. And we would have other like team skirmishes, and it was fucking blast. And I got good at it.
Yeah.
But the first MMORPG that I played was actually Guild Wars.
The first one.
And I remember sitting down and I played for 15 hours. I went to the bathroom twice. I didn't even eat.
You don't need to when you're distracted.
I was so sucked in. And I was like, you should take a break. I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah, who are you?
Yeah.
I remember
Fucking necromancer.
Guild Wars. I didn't play it until much later, like near the end of before Guild Wars 2 came out. But Moxie introduced me to the game, and I'm playing it, and I was fully immersed in this game. I'd never played a game this pretty before.
Yeah.
You know,
It
for
was
such
very
toned down graphics on my computer, because my computer wasn't really anything to write home about. It was beautiful.
They
Like,
played around a lot with
everything.
the lighting.
The lighting was what made it so beautiful.
Yeah.
Like everything had this. Without getting too descriptive, I think the best way to say it is everything had this quote unquote angelic feel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the lighting on everything was very bright, and there was just such an aura about everything. And I
Good
dug it.
places gave you good feelings.
Definitely did. Really, really well done.
I think when I finally hopped into the MMO RPG craze, I went through a whirlwind of games right out the gate.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was like me and my buddy Blaze, we just couldn't settle. We weren't able to settle. We were just like, what are we going to play? Let's figure this out. Let's play them all until we figure out which one's our game. But we started off. My first MMO was City of Heroes.
That was a fun one.
That was a lot
It
of
was
fun.
fun. We played that for a while, had a lot of fun with it, and then we moved on to Guild Wars.
It didn't last me very long though. I think I went through City of Heroes very quickly, like maybe a month.
Yeah, I mean that was the thing about the game. Like the game was absolutely great, and at first, and then it just got repetitive.
Yeah.
Yep. Such is the case with a lot of MMOs.
Yeah, especially those early MMOs.
Yeah.
But then we played Guild Wars, and then I hopped into Final Fantasy XI for a little bit,
Yeah.
and almost immediately after jumping into Final Fantasy XI, we jumped into WoW. And I know I played WoW for a while, and that was like pretty much just before the Burning Crusade stuff came out.
Gotcha.
Right before their first content patch, and then we played through the Burning Crusade stuff, and then I took a long break from pretty much most MMOs for a while.
MMOs are hard to get into. They're not for everybody.
It isn't.
And I can't really get into them anymore. There's just... the time I do have to play video games, I don't want to spend it doing an MMO, because an MMO takes a lot of time to get somewhere.
You sit down, you know you're going to have to
Yeah.
sit down for a few hours.
Yeah, you're gonna have to
You
put some work
don't
into
have
it.
15, 20 minutes to get to the next level. quote
Right, save your
unquote.
game, and then you
This
make
is-
progress.
This is definitely an era that we're in right now where the MMO isn't dead, like it's thriving, but
It's changing.
It's vastly changing, and the environment as we know it as gaming is definitely growing. Like, I feel like 2013, 2014 is the year of the indie game. And albeit we're still very early into 2014, there's a lot of advancements in 2013. I mean, hell, Steam is not exactly new.
No.
Not new.
No.
And, Gaben, God love him, he brought us, the Steam gods brought us Steam powered, and here we are, and Steam is the home, having, what is it, like 2,000 indie titles? 2,000 plus
Probably.
indie titles?
I'm not sure exactly, but
There's
more
a
than
lot.
I could count on my hands and feet.
Lots.
I remember when Steam was just a place though that you could host their games.
Yeah.
It's Counter-Strike.
Yeah, Counter-Strike,
Team Fortress.
Half-Life, Team Fortress.
Yeah.
That's what I had on my Steam when Steam first came out, and I was just
And that's
like,
all they had.
Yeah, that's all they.
And now, looking at it, if we paired all of our accounts together, we probably have a variable of right around 400 or 500 games
Probably.
Yeah.
that we bought for fractions.
Yep. And have access to on any machine,
Exactly.
anywhere,
Exactly.
forever.
And that's awesome. Like, I feel like this is definitely the direction of gaming and
It's all
how
digital.
it should go.
It's taken a digital direction, and consoles have talked about this, but that's a whole nother discussion.
It is entirely a whole other discussion.
So what's your guys' favorite game as when you were a child? Not now, but when you were a child, waking up in the morning.
What did
was
I run
that,
to?
Yeah, what was that game that you went straight for?
Pick an age, because
Yeah, you'd have to pick an age. It's progressed through my life.
Well, okay, there is a point where you reach in your life where you're not a kid anymore.
Pokemon.
You say you may
Doesn't
you
matter the
may
age, it's Pokemon.
not have a job yet or anything like that, but you make that transgression.
I say we pick a couple ages: 6 years old, 12 years old, and 18.
6, 12, and 18?
Yep, I can start. 6, Sonic. I ran to Sonic Sega every morning, and I remember running to it because it was in my brother's room, and he was in his crib, and I couldn't play Sonic until he was awake. So I would go in my brother's room in the mornings when he was a baby and wake him up to play Sonic. And I often got in trouble, but it never stopped me. Moving on to 12, Spyro Ripto's Rage. I 100%ed that game more times than I could count, and I will do it again tomorrow if I could. I love that game. That game brings back way too many memories. 18, I got into D&D. 100% D&D.
Yeah.
It was like the train, the brake were broke, and it was anytime, and it was whether I was working, whether it was at school, I was doing something D&D related, or daydreaming.
Nice.
What about you, Siege?
I'm not sure what I played when I was 6. I played pretty much any video game I can get my hands on around then. It was before PlayStation. I remember that. So I was playing Sega and Super Nintendo. I played a lot of Sonic. So I would probably say it was most likely Sonic.
Sonic's a good one.
12 was definitely Final Fantasy VII. I remember when I was like 10 or 11, I babysat the neighbor kid so I could buy Final Fantasy VII because I saw it at a friend's house, like one of my dad's friends. He was a gamer, and another old gamer because he was a full grown man that played video games. But he had Final Fantasy VII, and I got to play it and demo it a little bit, and I was like, I got to get this game.
Must have.
Yeah. And so I babysat the neighbor kid until I could afford to buy it, and I went and bought that game, and I played that for probably the rest of my life. 18, I believe I was playing a lot of Counter-Strike with Blaze and Isaac.
As far as video games go, I can see that, but if I would guess for you, if you could jump out of that and just go into the genre of game, it would be D&D for you too.
I didn't start until I was 20.
Was that right? That's right, because I was 16 and you were
That's right. Grandpa
4 years
Siege is
older
in
than
the
me.
room.
couple years
Ages
later
ago.
it would
Yeah.
be D&D.
Yeah.
Okay.
But at that time, it was still whatever video game I can get my hands on, but I know I played a lot of Counter-Strike through high school.
I think for myself, my go-to game at 6 was probably Zelda: A Link to the Past. That was probably the game that I really got into. I wouldn't quite declare it on the same level as something like Secret of Mana or Chrono Trigger, because it was a different kind of game, albeit it had the RP elements. The Zelda titles have been standalone for a long time, and I really don't feel like they have the same feel as a JRPG.
No,
They don't.
They're their own thing.
Right. That was 6. 12. Ooh, 12. There were.
Pokemon, maybe?
It's probably Pokemon. I'd have to say it was Pokemon. Between Red and Blue, like my Blue cartridge had over 400 hours before they even introduced the idea of Silver and Gold.
Silver and Gold were the ones that got me hooked.
Man,
That was the hook.
It was done. Like I remember, on my mom's computer, Billy at the time, my friend, had he had told me about emulation and ROMs. And we went to this place called Plastic Man's Emulation, and we downloaded this emulator and this ROM, and it was all in Japanese, and it was called Pocket Monsters Blue Edition. And I put it on my computer, and he's like, now, if you're going to play this, you're not going to be able to read anything. And you can't save, because I don't know how yet.
Nice.
So I played Pokemon Blue before it came to the United States, in Japanese with no save button,
Nice.
and the computer would get shut off every night.
Yep.
So
Every morning you'd have to wake up.
every morning I'd have to wake up
start
and
over.
relive it over
See
again.
how far I can
Push
get.
that boulder up the hill, and every night
Yep.
it rolls down.
Yeah, that's right. So I probably had, realistically, I probably had somewhere in the ballpark of 700 or 800 hours in Pokemon Blue, all between the computer and the game itself.
It's fucking nuts.
But like I said, after 14, it was pretty much PC.
Yeah.
And PC from then on out. Like, I still do PC games today, strictly, almost. I can't recall the last time I really played a console game.
Yep.
But
Now, there's some great games on console.
when I was 18, as far as gaming goes, it was kind of a weird time for gaming for me. I was trying a lot of avenues, but I didn't really take off for me until I was 19. And 19, I jumped into Dungeons & Dragons 3.5.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh,
Everyone at the
yeah.
table just went, ah!
Yeah, getting the nerd boner.
And it was downhill from there. Like, I remember playing it for the first time. Like, this is everything I've ever wanted.
Yeah.
Right?
And I firmly believe, like, I can tell everybody here comfortably at this table, and anybody who's listening, that role-playing in general, it may not necessarily have to be Dungeons & Dragons or Pathfinder or Heroes
be
or
anything.
World of Darkness. If you're with a great group of people that you can trust and you can have fun with, role-playing is simply the most fun you can have without taking off your pants.
And yes, we're selling it to you
That's right.
because if I had to give away video games only to say you'll be role playing every day for the rest of your life, no question, I would kick every console I own and toss every video game right down the mountain.
True story.
I'm
I would
still not sure
pitch
I
my
could do
PC.
that.
I would.
I pitch my PC.
I
Yeah.
would. Yeah, I can't say I'd do that.
If it was
I
like-
grew
if-
up on gaming. I can't give up.
Albeit, to
I
get
can't
some,
give up video games.
to make
And we
something
are,
really,
we are
really
talking
clear
about
here.
video games, and then at 18, we're all changing it to a tabletop.
To-
This is the transition as
Dice.
we
to
get
make-
older.
yeah, to
we
make
we
something
demand
very
something
clear
more.
here, it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
Role playing is not for everyone. We all know that. It's just not for
Everybody's
everyone.
got that person at the
Yeah.
table. They're like, oh,
Everybody's
dude,
got-
can
everybody's
you just
got a
get busy
Karen.
tonight and not be here.
Everybody's got that fucking Karen the douchebag that you just want to not play.
Yep.
But it's role playing is not for everyone. It's not everybody is good at it. Not everybody has fun doing it.
Not everybody
But-
understands.
So long as you have a group that you can be comfortable around and you don't mind sounding a little foolish, which we've all sounded more foolish more than once, so it's not really like it's hurting
That's
us.
Every
the,
day.
That's the hill to get over playing these
Yeah,
games.
it's
is
the stigma attached
people
to it.
feel silly.
Like I'm just gonna call out a TV series here, and you guys let me know if it rings a bell. Are you prepared for this? Freaks and Geeks.
Nope.
Yeah. No?
Nope.
No for
Okay.
you? Is that a no
I
for
just
you?
recently watched it.
You,
Like,
you should
last
check it
year.
out.
Like,
You should
I-
really check
I
it
watched
out.
it like a year ago.
Because-
I watched it on Netflix.
What was it? Late?
incredible.
Was it the early '90s?
I was
Late
actually
80s. Late. It was
older
either
when I
the-
watched it.
No,
but
no. I'm not asking about your age. I'm asking about the time frame.
Oh, it was
Late '80s, early '90s.
no, it was late 70s.
Really?
That's when that's the setting.
That's
of
the
Okay.
setting of
late
it.
All right, so
70s.
the setting is late 70s, early 80s, and the stigma attached to Dungeons and Dragons is very heavily implied.
Nerd.
That's when it first came
Very-
out, right?
Yeah, yeah. Gygax introduced it, I think, in like 77 or 73, something
Very
like that.
nerd in its original form.
Oh yeah. I mean,
But
even still today.
It was well, I mean, back then versus now, it's a little different.
Yeah.
But then it was you may as well have been a devil worshiper if you played D&D back then. Still today, people view it that way, but people have come around. I mean, a lot's changed since 1970.
We
Nerd
pretty
is the
just-
new black.
We just
Exactly.
make a
Nerd
deal
started
with
off
Black.
as like, if you're a devil worshiper. I think it was like D&D was a thing that just nerds did.
Mhm.
And then there was the big kick about, it being the devil's game and stuff like
Yeah.
that when the religious nuts got a hold of it.
Well, they
And
see
then
they
it went
saw
Zealots
things.
will be zealots.
Yeah.
It
They
just
see
happens.
things like because our friend Jew, he went to this church camp within the last. I mean, he's my age, so it was probably about 5, 6, 7 years ago. So he was 16, 17, 18 years old, and he went to this church camp, and they were talking about things that are evil and demonic, and D&D was on that list.
Really?
Yeah, and he went and he pulled his preacher aside later, and he was like, D&D is not evil.
Yeah.
Why is it on this list? And even the
That's
preacher
wrong.
was like, honestly, I played it as a kid. But he was like, but there are demons and devils and that
You
shit-
fight and kill
Yeah.
them.
Right,
You
right.
combat them. It's not like we're like, hey, let's go
But
skip
he's
down
like,
the field.
You can play these evil people and you can do evil things, and he was telling me that his preacher just told him that there was a link to something that would lead to more darkness. And
It's called a light switch. Shut up. New story. Basically.
but going back to what we were talking about, the games is childhood. At 6, I would probably have I played all kinds of games. It was mostly Super Nintendo because that was about the age that we got it. Donkey Kong Country 2.
Alright.
I've been playing it.
Let me guess, at 12, Donkey Kong Country 2. At 18 is Donkey Kong Country 2?
I'm a big DK2 fan. Yes, I am.
You go to hell, so what?
There's no way he just called that perfectly.
No, he didn't, he
Let's
didn't, he
hear
didn't.
12.
Well, it was probably.
Don't say Donkey Kong Country 2.
Well, I was in 6th grade, and so that was before I started playing Halo, and before I started playing Guild Wars, because that was at age 14. If we could fast forward 14.
There's 6 years of games that came out after that.
No, I played other games. Okay. I loved Yoshi's Story at age 12.
6 years later, she's still cramming that Super Nintendo.
No, for the 64. Oh, Yoshi's Island. Sorry, Yoshi's Island. Is that what it is?
I think so. Or it's vice versa. It's one of
It's
the
the
two.
other way around. It's Yoshi's Story on 64.
Okay.
And I loved GoldenEye.
Okay.
GoldenEye, so good.
Yeah, at 12, I loved
GoldenEye, too good.
GoldenEye too good.
But
GoldenEye OP.
at 18, it was Dungeons and Dragons. Like you two said, if I, as hard as it would be,
No questions.
if I could, I would throw my could I keep my PC? That's the question. Could I keep my PC?
Sure, you can have. I mean, PCs are used more than just video games. You just have to delete your Steam account.
Oh, see.
If I deleted my Steam account, I'd literally just have a calculator.
Yeah.
I don't talk to people.
I couldn't.
I don't like people at
As much as I
all.
love D&D, I couldn't stop playing video games for nothing.
But D&D
And I've done it
is
again, I
all
couldn't
video
give 'em.
games. Not
Like, you don't-
necessarily
you don't have to
D&D,
go
but
to
like
work.
tabletop
I
tabletop
understand.
games.
I love playing D&D. Trust me.
We'll just get you
it's
a
one of my
controller.
favorite things in the world.
We'll just
but
buy
I
you a
couldn't
controller
give up video games for
To
it.
plug into your PC.
Then again, I couldn't give up D&D for video games.
Tell you what, close your eyes. We'll hand you the controller at the table. It'll be the same thing.
Just talk and wiggle the analog sticks.
It's a free roam.
That's how most of his relationships have gone thus far.
It's an open world.
It
It's
doesn't matter. It's all part of the same package to me. It's gaming. I couldn't pick one or the other.
Just close your eyes and wiggle the stick around.
But while I'll pick all of those games,
Now, if I could give up responsibility and job, I would totally give those up.
I totally never work again to play role-playing games all day long.
Feel that
yeah,
one.
because that's an option. Like that's a way in a competition there.
I would like
Wake
to,
up
to
at 8
be.
a.m. or play Dungeons and Dragons
At
till
noon.
8 a.m.
I would like that to be an option, really.
I would love for that to be an
if
option.
Fucking everyone would play D&D if that was an option.
I hate
Just
D&D.
pay all my bills
Preacher would
for
be
me
like,
so I
it's so godly.
This is the best thing ever happened to me. Which 12th level wizard, you bastard? Don't you understand?
You know, things are different now. We're not 6, 12, and 18. Like I said, I'm going on 27.
It's still
Yeah.
D&D.
I'm going on 27.
What do you wake up to play at 27?
What do I wake up to play? Well,
The Pathfinder, you know,
if I can swing a role playing game, you know that
Video
I will.
game. Okay, let's say video game.
Game.
What do you wake up in the morning
Today,
when you're
Nether.
like itching to play?
Today it's Nether.
Today, yeah, it's Nether for me too.
Yeah.
Sell
Final
it.
Fantasy 14.
Today it's definitely Nether.
Sell it for people who don't know.
For people who don't know, Nether is a I want to say it's not a real time strategy, but it's a real time survival horror.
Survival horror.
And in this particular game, you are a survivor. I don't know the initial backstory. It's been milked at this point. It's a very popular idea that's being abused heavily, like with games such as Rust
DayZ.
and DayZ. Those are some, well, particularly DayZ is a much larger title at this point.
Yeah.
But
It's kind of like that, but better.
I think it's a mixture of. I don't want to just say DayZ because it's a survival horror. I want to say it's a mixture of like the Call of Duty games with The Last of Us, because that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
The combat feels very, very similar to the Call of Duty games, the initial burst fire and everything that can happen.
And the monsters are a cross between The Last of Us and Dead Space,
And that's exactly. It's
which is my favorite game
it's kind of like it's scary to think that these monsters can charge you and they move at your initial reactions, but that's not the scary part. The scary part is the fact that you're surviving against other players.
Yep.
That's the
Yeah.
fucking terrifying part. You can run up and you can find someone I mean,
It's a
you can
survival MMO.
exactly. You can get up to 64-man servers, and
When it's
hell, they
full,
just
you
had a
don't make it
patch.
very far without a big group of people
Yeah.
that know what they're doing.
I think my
Yep.
initial survival rate up to this point, after playing it for around 90 hours, my survival rate is every 5.5 minutes, which that seems very low. But at the same time, I've had characters last several days.
Sure.
So
And when you die, your character's
and
white.
it's still in beta.
exactly, when you
It's-
die, like max level's 31. And you're like, what the hell was the point of a leveling system? You know, if it's something that doesn't matter. Well, as you level, you get these points, these stat points that you can add into things such as your shooting skill or survival
Health.
or exactly stamina, things like that. Things that can initially make your character survive longer. So you want to invest these points accordingly. Things that better suit your style of gameplay. Well, it's important. It's very important that you spend your points. You just don't want to dilly-dally, dick around and find just like a shatty weapon and don't invest any points. Like you really need to take advantage of their grouping system, which they just implemented on the 15th. They just hit it with a patch. The patch notes are up on Steam right now. You can check it out.
It's in beta, so I mean, it's still.
It's an early access.
Nothing is set in stone.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So far, what they've included up to this point that I've noticed with this last patch, there's a grouping system. They've added a grouping system for ways for other players to identify people within your group. Either it's a name change, whether they change your name to blue or pink or whatever, or there's a color marker that hovers over the players that are within your quote-unquote group.
Yep.
There is a team. There's like a new courier mission for teams. The person that carries the package can't fire any weapons and they move slower.
shit.
But this particular package draws nether. They draw the creatures to you.
So you're kind of like a
That's going to be a challenge.
covered in deer.
And it
piss.
just-
Basically.
depends on
but
where you're
there's
going
there's a
to,
huge
too.
Nether
payout.
piss.
There's a
Oh.
huge payout. So doing this is fun, but at the same time, whenever you fire off into the world, if you're firing like your gun at monsters at these nether, you can be heard.
Yep.
As long as there's a gun, like as long as there's a sound range around, and people have their headphones or their speakers going, they can hear you firing, or they can hear the nether screaming.
And the way that you know, if
And-
you have any kind of updated headphones, it'll come from the direction that
Oh, yeah.
they're in. And,
Oh, yeah.
And it's
5.1
very
or
immersive.
greater, and people are going to hear it.
Oh yeah.
So any kind of noise whatsoever will attract what I call them bandits. These are players that simply go into a server to hunt other players.
which people will stream that
They do.
shit, and
They
it's
do.
it's annoying.
So Nether's a pretty popular game here in my household.
Yep.
Nether's the game that I would probably go to. If there was another game that I'm actually looking forward to playing, it's probably Supergiant Games' next title, Transistor. Because while the numbers say that Minecraft is the largest selling indie title, I firmly believe that Bastion is the best independent game I've ever played in my life. It's not for everyone. Everybody can get down on the narrating thing, but the gameplay, the graphics, the combat system, everything played flawlessly in my eyes. And I was immersed. That was full immersion. Like, I was moved. Hell, even if you're a blind person, the soundtrack alone is enough to really just get your giblets moving.
Very good soundtrack.
Very, very good soundtrack. Darren Core blew my mind.
I haven't even played the game, and I know one of the songs.
And
It's
hell,
so
you can
good.
get the title on Steam for like $2.
Yeah,
What
it's
are you
dirt
doing?
cheap.
If you've never played Bastion
What are you
before,
doing with your? I have a reason now.
go play Bastion. It is amazing. And at least check out Nether. It's not for everyone.
Yeah. Take a peek.
Another game I wake up and not necessarily like I'm gonna do this today, but a game at this time in my life that I just would go to. I've been playing Donkey Kong Country 2 my entire existence almost,
Yeah.
but Dead Space.
Yeah.
Dead Space 1, 2, or 3.
Solid title for you.
I through and through. I love the story. I love the combat. I love all of it. Everything about it. The monsters, the interactions. I love Dead Space. I will replay them over and over and over again until I die, just like Donkey Kong.
I never got into them that much, but
I like the survival horror stuff.
yeah, everybody's got their thing. Lately, every time I get home from work, I play Minecraft. I've been on a Minecraft binge.
You've been doing that for a while,
Yeah,
though.
I have Minecraft's. I play that more than any other game.
People go through Minecraft binges the same way that they go through drinking binges, hence why they're called binges.
Yeah.
But Minecraft, like I said, the numbers, man, have like 10 million copies at a minimum of $10 a piece.
Something absurd like that. But
Do the math, folks.
I haven't
Yeah.
been on Minecraft in a while, but every now and then I just
You get an itch.
get in the mood and just freaking Minecraft for a few weeks.
it's a solid game.
For me, it's only fun when I'm playing with other people.
I'm on a
Same
server.
here.
I've been playing on a server, and it's been it's completely modded and done.
Again, it's not for everybody. Like
Yeah.
Minecraft, it's a game where you have to make your own fun.
Yeah, you have to find a reason.
I think it's very.
My favorite part isn't actually building anything.
It's the
actually
boy Sims.
it's when we're playing together, like as friends. Like we're all on Skype and we're just fucking get some supplies and go exploring
Yeah.
and seeing what kind of trouble we can stir up.
Exploration's a lot
I'm
of
not
fun.
a. s-
Yep.
I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Minecraft, but I'll play with you guys when we all get the opportunity to play together. But I call it the boy Sims. Like girls, you tend to be into Sims.
Yeah.
And I see it as that for boys
Interesting way to
hate
put
The
it.
Sims.
because I know you like
love
The Sims.
I hate The Sims.
I love The Sims.
I hate The Sims.
I mean, you go out and you
So much.
explore, and you get to do these different things with your character. It's like where girls get to have
what
the
do you mean you
conversation
get to
on
go out and
Sims
explore?
in
Talk about
Minecraft.
Minecraft.
They go, you be
Okay.
Yeah, you have the conversation.
Conversation's
and you,
the best.
And you build
I
the,
know, right?
what would be considered the girl stuff, and then for boys, you go out and you explore, and but it's all day and night living through your character.
Yep.
So,
Love me some Minecraft. Another game that I picked up recently. I tried to do a Let's Play of Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons.
How'd that go?
is that any good?
Didn't work out on my PC, but I
Oh.
plan on doing one. I ordered parts for my desktop.
Nice.
That's
So-
us with Outlast. We haven't got to play it because our PCs suck.
Yeah. Can't
Yep.
run 'em.
So hopefully there'll be a Let's Play of that soon. But I played about an hour into it. Fantastic.
Speaking of Let's Plays, folks, if you haven't already, check out that Facebook. You really should, because we've got some Let's Plays up.
That's right.
You can actually you can demo view our Nether gameplay.
That's right.
It's fun.
We're intending to get a lot more up, so you should scope it out. But if you're not into that, we've got another Let's Play up at this point. It's called Faster Than Light. Teaspoon is manning the what is the crit capsule?
The Crit Capsule.
The crit capsule.
Episode 2 went up yesterday.
It's
and,
featuring Moxie and Bubbernot as NPCs and a robot called like Zergypkian or something like that.
That's right. That's CJ's brother.
It's CJ's brother,
Zergipsky.
Zergypskian.
We'll call him Zergypsky.
Zergypsky.
That's a good name. Yeah, episode 2 went up yesterday and got in some trouble. So go check it out.
I read. I haven't seen it yet. I'm pretty excited.
Yep.
I'm pretty excited. But we hope to actually all be bringing content to you very, very soon. Nether's pretty awesome. I'm going to be getting a new PC very, very soon. So you should see some stuff from like Outlast and possibly Bastion. I know when Transistor comes out, I didn't get to tell you about it, but tweaking my nipples on that one. That one's going to be super, super exciting. I hope you guys are down for it.
Lots of fun stuff.
Man, I'm super excited.
Yeah.
Super, super excited.
Until then, though.
No, he's got.
Oh,
We
that's
can't
right.
go anywhere just yet. This guy right here has got. Let's hear about your recent video game
Alright,
craze.
So my recent video game craze has definitely been Final Fantasy 14. Like I said, I've going through MMOs has been like a harrowing journey for me. I've never been able to settle on one, and I've definitely never gotten to in-game content on an MMO ever. I don't care if it's been Guild Wars 1, 2, I played Star Wars for a while, City of Heroes, all of those, and I've never gotten to in-game content. Like, I've just never got to that max level. I'm well on my way to actually getting there with Final Fantasy 14. I'm about 15 levels out from max level.
I was told by a reliable source that if you hadn't dawdled and wasted your time creating 5 other characters, you would have beaten them all already.
Tim is not a credible other source. I had to create multiple characters. First of all, my favorite part of an MMO is the character creator.
Just like in Sims, it's building the house.
Yeah, like building my character is.
And he agrees.
It's.
You know what I'm thinking, right?
I'm awesome.
No.
Gay.
No, but building my character, it's sort of like building your character in D&D.
Yeah.
It's the most important
it's-
step of
yeah.
any role playing experience.
Yeah.
So you got to build the right character.
What's your character's name again? Dancing Whale?
No, that's Blazes.
I was gonna bring that up.
No, that's definitely.
Now I heard rumors that you've been traveling with someone that named themselves Dancing Whales.
He did. He did name himself Dancing Whale. And
Boy, that's original and neat. Said nobody.
Ever.
Original, I give that
Original,
to.
yeah. But by
It's
all
actually
means.
pretty original, and as far as creative, I don't know. I think it's fucking hilarious. And knowing the race that he chose to play, they go by names like that, like Spiteful Fury or something like
Belligerent drunkard.
that. Stuff like that, like Thunderous Axe. That's
Thunderous Ass. That's definitely Blaze's character.
It's an axe.
Oh.
okay. Yeah,
It could be
that
both.
works too.
It could be.
But they go by names like that race of people. So like Blaze came up with Dancing Whale, and I thought it was hilarious.
No, it's pretty funny. Definitely pretty funny.
It's something.
No, but yeah, I created probably 5 or 6 different characters, trying out the different classes to figure out which one was my best option. I eventually settled on Dragoon. So
As a
Lancer.
warrior. right?
Yeah, it's a warrior class.
Who would have thunk it?
Hold on. It's not just your warrior class. It's a leaping warrior class.
Right.
Yeah, they jump. They got legs and shit.
Interesting.
Finessey.
Two legs.
2 legs.
Oh my
Two
goodness.
whole legs.
They go up,
Shit.
And
I'm
then they go
sold.
down.
spears come down.
That's right. I must get this game. There's a
I have
character with 2
reason.
legs.
Sold, dancing whale, leaper.
Yep. I have reason. I need to jump.
Fucking, that's what happened in Guild Wars 2.
That's right.
Fucking
Jump,
the first
swimming.
one, we were very upset. It's like, I'm walking the shoreline. Why can't I go in? It's right there. Like, it's not deep.
Or
and
if
then the
you're like
second
on a
one,
little hill and you're
yeah,
like, I need to get down there. Just let me go
no,
over.
oh no, I have to walk around for 10 minutes. Oh, that's cool because I like wasting my time instead of just jumping 6
There where the
feet
quest
right there.
is.
So that fucking sucks. But in Guild Wars 2, they're like, you're gonna be able to swim, and guess what, folks? You're gonna be able to jump.
We implemented jumping.
Day one, people were like, ha-ha, jumping up and down everywhere. Everybody got in the city and just fucking
Let's be
jumped.
honest. When the game released,
Van Halen jumps
when,
are
when
playing.
they released the information that people could jump, even banks were loading money in a bazooka gun, firing it at ArenaNet.
These guys know what's up. They know what the people want.
Shut up and take my money.
Yep. Everybody jump to Van Halen jump.
That's right.
Bum, 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 ba-dum.
I'm gonna say, aside from Final Fantasy XIV, I've been playing Assassin's Creed Black Flag whenever the internet connection's not good.
You're a console gamer.
I am. I play a lot of console games. I do play some PC games too, so
No.
I'm not against PC, but
I jump back and forth too.
I like console games. That's where it's at. I think with console games you get the better story. Because there are console games that are not available for PC that in my opinion have bested any PC game I've seen.
But that can go. I mean, you're talking about a wide variety of like indie games as well that you've never even tapped into that have incredible stories that aren't
Let's be
ever going to
honest.
be
I'm
available.
Your argument
Let's
can be
be
played
honest.
both
Our
ways.
indie-
Yeah,
our
it can
indie could be.
It can
Our
be.
indie game resident expert here, Bubbernot, says Bastion is the best game he's ever played.
I would be inclined to say that Cody has, Teaspoon has just
Okay,
as much
sure.
knowledge
But-
in the indie games than.
Okay, our 2 resident experts.
Yeah.
But you guys say Bastion is the best game, the best indie game you've ever played, right?
He would be inclined to say that it's Minecraft.
Minecraft for me.
I would be inclined to believe that it's Bastion.
Okay.
You both have no reason for not
Personally,
playing Bastion at this point.
I've played Bastion.
Oh,
I've
you-
played-
that's right.
I'm the only one
I've
at the
played
table.
and beat
I haven't
Bastion,
played it.
Oh, you
and I
haven't?
absolutely love the game, but I've played games that I feel are better, not just because of the graphics, but story-wise, like The Last of Us. Probably one of the best games I've ever played.
That came from a large studio, though. You gotta realize there were less. I'm pretty sure there were less than 50 people associated with Bastion.
I understand that. I'm not. I'm
the voice was
putting
the guy's roommate.
Yeah.
I'm talking about putting the graphics and the big budget aside, just purely story.
Oh yes. The element. Let's
well,
be
when you
honest.
get big budgets like that,
Yeah.
you have time to implement as long as you want to the story.
the
that
Bastion
works.
story
the
wasn't-
advantage of playing on console though is you can get those big budget games. I mean, I don't
Some
knock.
the most big budget games come to PC. There's very few. Like Ubisoft is one studio that doesn't implement all of their titles over to PC.
Yeah.
And that title was Last of Us. I mean, there's the only other studio that doesn't do
Ubisoft
that.
worked on Last of Us.
Not Ubisoft. It's another studio. That studio,
There's a larger studio.
One of them
regardless.
that's out
that does
there.
the
Naughty Dog.
The
Yes,
Naughty Dog.
Naughty Dog.
Naughty
But
Dog.
they-
'Cause I get
but
excited
Not only
to
did they
hear
do
that
The
it was
Last
Naughty
of Us,
Dog.
but they also played another really. They also made another really great.
Male Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got that.
Uncharted.
We got boobs with it.
Uncharted is another fantastic series. The Tomb Raider jokes aside, yes, it did start off as a very Tomb Raider-esque game, but then again, the new Tomb Raider went and emulated Uncharted, so they did something right.
I agree,
I
but at the
think
same
the
time,
argument
this
can go both ways.
the argument can go anywhere because I say you have no strategy
It's
games.
personal.
Then I win that whole argument. You have no strategy games,
It's got Civilization.
but it doesn't work the same way. Civilization, Civ 5 on
moves
PC,
differently. I know.
but
We've got games on PC for days like RTS all day long.
yeah,
We got Civ, StarCraft, Age of Empires, just to name a handful.
I was gonna say they still have Command and Conquer going.
Yeah.
Command and Conquer.
Then you can get into your nerd ones like
It just
Lord of
depends.
the
It depends what
Rings.
you're looking for.
I know.
I wouldn't be
I know.
surprised.
I know it's purely an opinion, but
I bounce
that's my
back and
opinion.
forth.
That's
I
why-
do. I do bounce back and forth. Like one of my favorite game series is Dead Space. That's a console game. Well, you can get it on PC, but
Yeah.
if you're gonna play it, you're gonna play it on console.
Oh my god, Origin's pushing the shit out of that. So if you guys are interested, you can go over there and check out the higher of the internet evils there. Because I hate Origin. Hate it. Oh my goodness.
Origin itself probably not too bad. It's just being pushed by EA just because Steam was doing so good.
Well, Origin is EA.
I know.
That's why it's
That's why I said
pushing
that.
it.
EA's the devil.
Like I said, Origin itself, like the service probably isn't too bad. It's just
No,
the fact
I
that
mean-
EA's pushing it so hard, only because Steam
EA's
did
the
so
devil.
well.
EA's the devil.
It
I
kind of
just-
is. I mean,
EA.
The devil.
Satan.
Yeah.
it sucks that they actually make some pretty good games. I mean, they make a lot of crap games too, but 'cause
They make
that's
quality
the
games,
thing.
but they tie it up with bad legalism. Like they legalize it in the wrong way.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like that's why it sucks. It's just like they put out some good product, but they also, I mean, they
Dead
just mass
Space.
produce product. But I mean,
I mean, you just can't. Eventually, I feel like their theory is besides sports, they've got to push something else out, and eventually they're going to hit a golden nugget. It just can't be all turds the entire time.
Right.
So yeah, they've got some winners, but at the same time,
They've got some big.
they've got some.
But I mean, you
some
think that
crap
on
games.
PC. Think about how many indie games that you're just like, yeah, I'll buy this. The fuck is this?
I can't recall the last time that I've spent more than $40 on an independent game that I was completely let down with.
I can't remember the last time I spent $40 on an independent game.
Let's be honest, I can't recall the last time I spent more than $11 on an independent game.
Yep.
That
think-
is an advantage to it. They're much cheaper.
I think the biggest game you'll see from EA that's going to throw some flags where people are going to start stepping over to EA and chanting their flag. Battlefront, the new Battlefront game. Star Wars.
We'll see.
Yeah, they've
We'll
always
see.
done-
That's a big one.
Battlefront's always
That's
done well.
big news because the last installment was on PlayStation 2, and people were like, "Where'd it go?"
Let's talk about microtransactions for a minute.
Yeah.
Are you ready to spend $125 to play your favorite character and get that purple lightsaber?
Maybe.
I'm not. Just not
No.
gonna do it.
TJ is though.
A resident D-bag.
I'm going to spend $125 on this. Can I get Rent to You in 2 parts?
Yeah. I don't know if you guys are ready for this or not, but I can't pay rent right now because I just bought this $50 signed tampon.
Oh god.
I hope that's okay.
That's a real story.
That's a real story.
What?
Yeah. So
for this horrible movie.
So there's a terrible movie out there that was made solely based off because they made a short that was actually pretty hilarious. The premise
Based off
was,
of Dance Dance Revolution.
Yeah, the premise was they were making fun of like 8 Mile, like the rap battle, but it was to Dance Dance
I
Revolution,
remember that.
and they made like an 8-minute clip that blew up on the internet because it was actually really funny that little scene. They decided to make an entire movie based off of that one little skit, and it was terrible. Like I watched it, but one of our roommates absolutely loves the movie. He even bought the movie on DVD and had a big showing at his shop for everybody. And then afterwards, he got on, I think, eBay or something like that.
Yeah, it was. I think he got it with his DVD. With his DVD, he got a fake grill.
Yeah.
That was one of the main characters, like duplicate grills or some stupid shit like that. And he got an autographed tampon.
From the movie, which
That's right, folks.
Not even in the package. Like
Autographed.
on the cotton.
Autographed feminine product.
What?
and the whole point was like the scene was like that is a guy gave the main character a tampon, and then the guy was talking to his love interest, the girl that he likes, and she's like rooting around the ground on the playground, and like he asked her what she's doing. She's like, I'm looking for a tampon or something like that, or looking for a rag or something like that, and he gave her the tampon, and it was fucking retarded, and
Womp womp.
don't
Yeah.
ever watch
Bum,
the
bum,
end.
bum,
Don't ever
bum.
watch
That
the
movie's so not funny. The story about the funny parts of that movie was not funny.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a funny part. It was just mildly disturbing and very white trash. The moral of the story is
I have reason.
our roommate's an idiot and spent good money on a very bad product.
When he could have had a purple lightsaber.
Right? Purple lightsabers.
Purple
Always a good
lightsabers.
buy.
You know, that actually, this can actually wind us down to round out this podcast. But before this particular episode's over, I feel like it's our duty to inform everybody right now of something that we're trying to pull over here. We got an endeavor going on, guys.
Yes, we do.
If you haven't heard of it yet, it is a Kickstarter.
Kickstarter.
That's
Are
right.
we
I feel like that's the intro.
Can we do it again? So it's Kickstarter.
There you go.
There we go.
Oh yeah.
That's that
1990s.
acapella group right there.
I was gonna say cartoon show.
It was the 1990s.
That's all it was.
We are comic books.
Yes, we are.
I had more words there, my brain just stopped working.
It's fine. It's
It was
fine.
just like, we
They
are
fell out. They just
1990s.
didn't enunciate. They just kind of fell out.
Like, what are we
We're
in the
comic
1990s?
books.
We're something. from
That's
the
not what I wanted to
1990s.
say.
I had a reason for this.
Anyway, before we go off into this wild tangent, you guys should head over to Kickstarter.com and search for what are we looking for again?
Crit Confirm. The dice and the swords will show up, and you should see the logo.
That's right. Search for Crit Confirm on Kickstarter.com, and you will see exactly what we're trying to do.
Over 60%.
That's true, folks.
getting there.
We're trying to get this endeavor going because we've been invited to PopCon. It's a new convention coming to Indianapolis.
Wait, hold on. Andy Popcorn.
Andy Popcorn. Oh wait,
All right,
that was
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Andy Popcorn.
There we go.
Hell yeah.
That was nice.
That was
I
a
need
way
an
better
album.
1990.
That was a way better 1990. Anyway, folks, get over there and check that out on Kickstarter.com. Search for Crit Confirm Entertainment. And you can see exactly what we're trying to do. We need to raise some money because we are headed off to PopCon, and we are trying to make sure that we've got all the appropriate swag and, more important things like electricity, ready for you to visit us whenever we are up and running.
Because if
That's
you're
right.
listening, you're a fan, and we're gonna get T-shirts. If
Yes,
we
we
can
are.
get our Kickstarter going, we're gonna get T-shirts.
Hell yes.
And you can kick enough, you can get one of those first print.
It's going to be dope.
T-shirts.
It's
It
gonna be
is,
dope.
It's gonna be real
actually.
dope.
We actually have the
will
design.
we will write important notes to you saying that your mother is a gracious individual for giving birth to such a wonderful person with beautiful eyes.
Yes, we will.
But I'll never say that to Siege ever because he looks like a bird.